are here today at Arkansas Tech University with Dr. Crystal Ahrens Rouillier. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us. And I just kind of am excited that I pronounced your last name.
Oh, it's a tough one. A+. You did a good job on that one.
I mean, especially coming from a professor, an A+, that's good.
There you go.
So, okay, tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Sure. So here at Arkansas Tech, I am an assistant professor of animal and meat science in our Ag and Tourism department, which is actually in our College of Business and Economic Development. This is my home. The Arkansas River Valley is my home. And so when I had the opportunity to be able to teach here at Tech, it was an easy fit. I was blessed to be able to have the opportunity because educating about agriculture has been my path since grad school. Didn't know it was going to be my path, but it ended up being that. And so it's just a blessing to be able to be here and do something that I love in a place that I get to call home.
So tell us a little bit more about the path that you thought you were going to have.
Yeah, so like many, I went to undergrad at the University of Arkansas, woo pig. Got my undergrad in animal science with a couple of minors in communications and global studies. And I went on to Tarleton State University in Stephenville, Texas for my master's degree in meat science. I got to do an undergrad research project. It grew a passion for that side of the industry for me. So I got to go to Tarleton to work on my master's degree, and it was there that I got put into a teaching assistantship types of position. I thought I was going to get my master's degree in meat science, come home, live in Northwest Arkansas, work for Tyson or Simmons or one of the big ones in research and development and meat science, and that was it.
Right.
Little did I know that I was going to have a knack for being able to take high-level science and break it down to a level that people could understand. And so it was an easy fit, and I fell in love with education and that side of things and building a strong foundation for students to build whatever career they were going to onto it. And so I just continued down that path.
So explain to us, the importance of being able to take something that high level and very complex and break it down for others to understand.
Yeah, so science is challenging for a lot of people, right? And especially in today's time. Not everybody trusts science and not everybody understands the terms and the jargon and what a research project is and what it means to be published, what a sample size means and how to ask questions. To be able to take that first step and teach students how to ask a question and think critically is a really rewarding thing to get to see that light bulb moment when they finally be able, by the end of that semester, the end of that course, to be able to see, oh, that's what all of these steps previously have been training me to do. That critical thinking moment's really special.
Can you tell us how the journey to be at Arkansas Tech happened?
Absolutely. So, like I said, I was a teaching assistant at Tarleton State University in my master's program. From there, I actually went into, we'll call it industry, but I stayed in academia. I actually got a grant-funded position at Garden City Community College, way out in Garden City, Kansas, which if you don't know, that is feedlot country. That is, there are more cattle than people type world in Kansas. And I was hired on a grant-funded position that allowed me to teach ServSafe certifications, which is food safety certifications, to individuals in the industries like nursing homes and school lunch programs and hospitals and things like that. It's just ServSafe, and every fast food restaurant even has those certifications. The other one I was training on was beef quality assurance. I was doing beef quality assurance training. So I actually got to go onto the feedlots themselves, set up a classroom, and then those workers got to come in and out as they were doing their jobs to get that BQA certification. I was able to move a little bit closer to home at that point, and I got a position as an animal science instructor and livestock judging coach at Eastern Oklahoma State College. That's your typical type position, but I did get to have that livestock judging piece where I really got to work with a team of students who were there to further their skills and be competitive on the collegiate level, and that was a really fun experience. I started working for Applegate Natural Meats as an animal welfare specialist, and it opened me up to the world of traveling for your job, because I was in Arkansas, but they were based out of New Jersey. I was in and out of airports all the time, but I got to see organic hog farms in Quebec, Canada, and I got to see natural pasture-raised chicken operations and really see it from an animal welfare perspective, but also learn a side of the industry that those of us who grew up in agriculture often have questions about and don't always fully understand, but also represent our side of the industry in a company that doesn't understand the other side as well. And it really taught me to ask those questions that I was encouraging so many students to ask. And it taught me how to tell my story of agriculture to both sides. I've really found that I sit in a very special place in agriculture. I sit in what I call the middle gray area. I don't lean organic and natural and all of those things, but I also don't lean fully what we would term conventional in the agricultural world either. I see benefits to both. I have friends and family members who live on both sides, but I think it's very important that we find our own place in agriculture, and I find it a very big blessing that I got that experience, because I now get to question my students and pose questions to my students that really make them think and really challenge their thought processes as they move forward. And so that was probably my most impactful moment. From there, it was time to finish my PhD. My sister had finished her PhD and she was the 4-H livestock specialist here in Arkansas. But I actually had the opportunity to go to LSU and go to Louisiana and have that exact same job. And so I was the 4-H livestock specialist and meat scientist for the Louisiana 4-H program, as well as an instructor at LSU Animal Science. So me and my sister were holding the exact same jobs right there in the booth together at the same time, which was really cool, right? I was able to finish my job, or my PhD, at LSU. And that actually led me to a very interesting position, because I got to work for the American Meat Science Association. It was a remotely located position. I was able to travel around while I was doing that job, which was really fun. Yes, it was around COVID time, so I bought a camper and I was able to explore the world, the US a little bit while I did that. And then I had to come home and it was time for me to get back in the classroom. And so when this position opened up, it was a natural fit that was gonna allow me to stay at home, which is something I needed to do, but also give me that passion that I left home for 10 years ago seeking, to be able to bring all of that worldly, global experience back to the River Valley of Arkansas.
Your transition, back to Arkansas and being at Arkansas Tech, how does that feel, being able to, educate students kind of in your home base?
Being able to have this position in the River Valley it's priceless for me. It brings everything full circle. It means that all that time that I spent away really comes to fruition, and it shows what that experience can really do. But even more than that, it really sends honor to my dad and my parents. I was blessed to be here, and I was blessed to be able to take over my parents' ranch. And even more than that, continue their legacy, and that's what we've tried to do since then. Being here at Tech and being able to share my passion for animal science and improving the industry in the River Valley is just a dream come true. It's a moment to share the experience and passion and the legacy that my parents gave me and encouraged me to pursue with the youth here in the River Valley. And I tell my students every single day, they are gonna be the ones who are my vets, and they're gonna be the ones who are breeding my animals, and I want to make sure that they are the best ones possible, because
taking care of you.
I want them to make more money and be richer than I ever was, but also make sure that I have good people out there as well, and provide good people and leadership and workforce for those of us who need it here in Arkansas. And so when you ask that question of, how does it feel to be able to be a professor here at home, it's just such a special thing for me, because there are such strong ties and roots to the Arkansas River Valley that I'm just so blessed to be here.
No, and I think that's a testament, your entire story, how you were able to, push through that and then still give back and make a difference where your roots are. I think that says a lot about you and just you as a person and the impact that you're making on others every day here. So what traits do you encourage your students who are maybe looking to go, whether it's into ag business or to be an ag professor or just anywhere in the ag industry, what traits would you tell them to really hone in on?
You know, that's a really good question. And I think that answer changes generation to generation. Right now, my two biggest things that I harp on is their ability to make a decision, to be able to think critically through the problem that's in front of you, and then make a decision and stand behind that decision and justify it with logical terms. Those are probably some of the biggest skills that I push on myself and my students as well.
No, I think that's so important, just to have that confidence to say, here's my decision, here's why I made it, and here's why you should believe that too.
I think in the realm of agriculture we are in right now, we're in an interesting space where what used to just be a farm that raised animals or did row crops or whatever it was, they did that one thing and it was live or die on that one thing. And I think diversity in production is really important now. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do all things. Really think beyond, okay, I have cattle, I sell cattle. I have sheep, I sell sheep. I have corn, I sell corn. To think about what makes them happy and what they have to offer and how to diversify their income and keep their security where it is and not just dependent on where markets are, I think is very, very important. And so that's where you start to see that ag tourism piece, which is really awesome because we are an ag and tourism department here at Arkansas Tech. And I think we're going to start leveraging that a lot more. Less inputs, more outputs, right? And so how can we diversify in a way that brings us more profit and more money in a way that doesn't add a ton of extra work and also brings us joy in that, right? Because farmers work 24 hours a day. And so how can we benefit from that? So examples of that are what you see with beautiful ranches adding an event space, right? Or maybe it's cattle producers who have started to do that freezer beef piece. Me and my husband have dreams of doing something very similar at our place. And I think that can be anything for anyone. I think it's very important that farmers and producers begin to think past just one product and one place of income that is solely based on markets. And I think it's really important that we tell our stories. And I think that place of diversification is a place where farmers can become more secure. We can have more income diversity and increase our profits while telling our story in such a fun and passionate way, because that's probably the most important part.
How has the meat science curriculum created a more well-rounded and industry-aligned experience for your students?
So here at Tech, actually, they've had the meat science class on the books for a long time. And I believe they taught it once or twice as a lecture. But to have a real meat science experience, a lab component is very important. And meat science for me was always a passion because it wasn't until my master's degree that I realized that I'd been harvesting animals with my dad my entire life. And so there was a big tie there. So getting to come home, seeing that there was already a meat science class on the books and it wasn't being taught, I was able to come in with my experience and showing students how the end portion of the industry ties back to production and animal welfare and nutrition and pricing and where things change, where the struggles are, where the challenges are. All of those things make for a very, very holistic experience in animal and agriculture. I say something quite controversial to a lot of producers, but I say it to all of my students. If we were not eating these animals, we would not be raising them. And that's the fact of it. And without a meat science experience, I don't think you get the entire story. You don't get the entire picture of our animal industry. And you don't see how many factors there are in the meat industry that go into the agricultural business world as a whole. And so for me, it's really fun to be able to be the subject matter expert in that meat science area, because when you see the light bulbs click for those students, it's a really special piece, but it truly does give a holistic experience.
We're just so glad to have someone like you on the Field to Film podcast. So Dr. Crystal Ahrens Rouillier, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you.